Welcome to the Marketing Mixtape Podcast, hosted by me, Brittany Winfield of the Winfield Creative. If you have a burning marketing question, submit it at speakpipe.com/marketingmixtape, and we'd love to get it answered on a future episode. And don't forget to like and subscribe, baby! And if you're really feeling like it, leave us a review, so that way we can find more listeners just like you. But for now, sit tight, because now it's time for the Marketing Mixtape Podcast. Let's go! Hey, it's Brittany here, and on this episode of Marketing Mixtape Podcast, we're going to be talking about how to be better at social media. But before we really dive into the strategies, the tactics, all of the things that you need to know, I want us to set an expectation, a standard. Really, all of us in this room that are listening to this podcast episode, I want us to take a collective oath, a collective goal to be set. And that is our goal after listening to this podcast episode is to be just 1% better at social media. Not to be perfect, not to be a content creator, not to be an influencer. This podcast episode is really geared for small business owners who are running their own marketing that have 1,000 other things to do throughout their day. And often social media is the last thing that they think about, and they just put posts out there just to put them out there, which you're doing the best you can. I want to acknowledge that first and foremost. But our goal at the end of this episode is for you to learn just one new thing to be just 1% better at social media. And that might be a question that you need to ask yourself is, what can I teach you to make you 1% better at social media? How do you define yourself now? Are you considering yourself good at social media? Are you just fine at social media? Are you decent? Can you hold your own? These are questions that, asking yourself might be helpful, but also, what is 1% better at social media for you? Because 1% better at social media for me is a lot different than somebody who might just be looking at Instagram for the first time ever today. So let's go into this episode with open minds, open hearts. And if I teach you just one new thing about social media, I consider myself doing my job. So let's get into it. This episode, we are going to be talking about the grid, engagement, designing. We're going to be talking about how, with very limited time, we can show up for our businesses on social media. And to get us started, let's first talk about time management. Okay, so the worst strategy that we could use for social media marketing plans is not having a social media marketing plan. There's a reason why social media managers put so much emphasis on intentional marketing. And that is because the worst strategy that you could use as a small business owner is waking up on a random Tuesday and being like, ugh, I have not posted on Facebook in like 3 weeks. So I'm just gonna go into my phone, pick a random photo, slap a caption on it, slap a few hashtags on it, and get it out the door. This might be good as a filler post in between more value based content. However, if we are only relying on that system, then we get into this weird habit loop of posting in a way that we call ad hoc, which it's very randomized. It's not very consistent. Like your topics aren't consistent. Your visuals become less consistent. So, when it comes to time management on social media and how to be better at even showing up for your business on social media, first and foremost, we need to time block. We need to implement the idea that we are going to spend intentional, purposeful, thoughtful time on our social media marketing plan or just our marketing plan in general, really. So that way we make sure that the posts that we're doing, the content we're putting out there, aligns with our business goals. Because social media, after all, the entire reason we're using it is to create brand awareness for our business, to pull people into our sales funnel, to make them aware that we are hosting a pop-up event or hosting a sale, or we just launched a new product, or whatever it may be. So one of the strategies that we can adopt to become better at social media is this concept of batching. So instead of posting one post per week and literally on Monday being like, okay, on Wednesday, I'm going to post about this happening. And then you make one post and then you go about your week. And then on Monday again, you post one, you plan one post for that week and then you go about it. No, no, no. If we sit down for a longer amount of time and plan out our content, we can actually become more consistent overall in our visuals, in our captions, our storytelling, our tone, our analytics, our everything. Everything just elevates a little bit better if we are able to batch our content, which means making multiple posts at one time. And that's not to say that we are posting them at one time, that just means creating, planning, designing the posts at one time. So, what I recommend if time blocking is not part of your schedule right now is block out 1 hour per month. Block out 1 hour per month and write down what your business goal is. What is your business goal of the month? Is it to gain more email followers, subscribers? Is it to gain more followers on your Instagram page and set a quantifiable goal to it? Is it to sell 2 units of this product that you just came out with, or to get 100 pre orders? Whatever it may be, write it down as your goal of the month and then start to think about posts that would help provide value, that would be convincing for somebody who has not heard about your business before, that is inspiring. How has your product or your service helped others? That might be entertaining, that, which, wink wink, these are the content pillars. So sitting down and being a little bit more thoughtful, of how can I create posts that always lead back to the goal, because that's what we're doing. We're creating awareness that we have the goal to viewers, to followers, and helping them create an emotional investment in our business. So if our posts don't convey that, and instead they may be conveying chaotic energy, if we are just waking up a little bit and, just posting more in a flustered state, that's what our content is going to come off across online. So, strategy number one, making sure that you are batching your content and only spending like an hour per month. If you can crank out just one post a week, then that's great. That's all you can do. And then if you feel like you are getting better at it and practicing and, doing a little bit better each month, then turn it up a little bit. Maybe you can get 6 posts out the door per month and then 10 posts. And then, you try your hand at reels and you post a few reels per month. But starting small, and yeah, don't be afraid to set aside longer amounts of time, because you might be able to find some more time in the end if you implement that strategy. There is nothing that drives me nuts more than when I see brands that have invested in really good graphic design, logo work, in a branding identity, and it's really strong and they stand out among competitors, but then they're not using those elements in their social media marketing plan. And platforms like Canva make it so easy, literally so easy, to take their templates and remix them to fit your branding identity. I mean, there have been times where I've noticed other social media managers use the same Canva templates that I have, but they're not the same colors. We don't use the same language on them. They fit to what our needs are, and we just kept like the visual pieces the same, like the actual like shapes and stuff. But when I see brands use Canva templates online and not change any of the actual like visual pieces of the post, it drives me nuts. You are paying for Canva, assuming, you have the premium account, and all you have to do is load in that brand kit. Takes 10 minutes to load in your colors for your business, to load in your logos, your headshots, your elements, your fonts, and then you can so easily just, when you're looking at a Canva template, you have it picked out on the platform, go over to the left-hand navigation and hit brand, and then there's like a little color palette that you'll see. If you put your mouse over it, you can keep clicking that button and just remix the colors. And then you have a post that stands out among the other people that are using that same template online, and it better aligns with the consistency of your brand's visual identity. Like with the Winfield Creative, you'll see, for example, we only use four colors. It's the navy, the powder blue, the green, and the yellow. Those are really the only colors that I will use in all of my posts. So, another thing is don't use too many colors from your logo. Pick 3 to 5 and make sure they're contrasting. Not trying to put like brown and black on the same slide because then you can't read anything. But make sure that you have consistency within your visual identity of the post that you're putting out there, the content you're putting out there, because then you're just going to have a bunch of Canva templates that don't make sense and are not authentic to your business. And we don't want to get into that habit. That's not a good one to be in. So, to be better at social media means also creating content that is relevant to your brand. And pro tip, if you can create posts that alternate in colors, so let's say Monday's post is green, Tuesday's post is blue, Wednesday's post is powder blue, and Thursday's is yellow, and then you start that cycle all over again, your grid will actually, one, be a little bit more creative, a little bit more funky in the colors, but also it'll actually help all of your posts stand out rather than just having way too much text on your graphics and no posts then stand out. So it's actually a little bit better and more visually aesthetic if you alternate posts between the graphics that you're creating for your social media marketing plan. Being better at social media means you have an understanding that we are not here to reinvent the wheel every single post. No, 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 no. Nobody has time for that. Because as a social media manager I run what, 8 accounts, 9 accounts? Oh my gosh, I would never sleep if I had to create original content for every single person, including the Winfield Creative. So, if we are able to adopt repurposing your content, oh my gosh, yes, like less planning to do. You could just crank out even more posts because you're talking about the same thing, just maybe in a different way or using a different type of media. But this is going back to what we were saying about batching is if you wrote down on that piece of paper like what the theme is, what the goal is, and then you're creating 4 original posts that help you talk it, like it always leads back to the theme or the goal that you are trying to accomplish with your social media marketing plan. We can even take the 4 original content ideas, the post ideas, and re-record them in different ways that create maybe 8 to 16 posts about that one topic rather than, you know, talking about different things each time you go onto social media because that'll one get it confusing for people. But if you're able to repurpose your content too, it'll save you more time. It'll save you more stress, more energy will be conserved. So that way you can focus on other things with your marketing plan. So when I'm talking about repurposing your content, I mean, go look at a post that you've done that's currently on your social media platform and figure out a way to either say it in a different way, to present it in a different way, or you know, to maybe film it as a reel instead of a post? Is there a different way to list it in the caption? So let's say that you posted a picture of you at your desk and it was 3 strategies on how to increase time productivity. I don't know. That's a very random example. So you have a very random stock photo, and then in the captions, you relied on the captions to list out those 3 ways. So there's one idea right there. There's one way to present the content. And then you could create a multi slide carousel, just taking those three bullet points and putting each of them on the slide, having an intro card, and then slide two being number one, slide three being number two, slide four being way number three. I know numbers not my easiest strong suit. And then the fourth or the fifth and final slide card being a call to action, you know? Or that's way number two that you can talk about the same exact caption. Like you can literally just copy and paste that caption also. The other way is to create a reel, get on the camera and actually out loud narrate those three different ways. And then again, use the same caption, but there are now three different types of content, three different individual posts about the same thing, but you're presenting it in a different light. You can even take way number one and expand on it a little bit more, dig deeper with that value that you are providing to the people that are watching your content. So, how to be better at social media means not creating all original posts. Go look at what you have already up there and see if there's a different way to say it. Because one other thing to keep in mind is not 100% of your followers will see 100% of your content. So, the more you can do to remind people and be a little bit more repetitive with your content, you're saving yourself the trouble, saving yourself the time, and you're also making your posts more memorable to people seeing them. The last strategy that I want to talk about in today's podcast episode of how to be better at social media is I want to make sure there's an understanding that social media is a phrase that consists of two words. There's social and then there's media. So there's often misconceptions of I need to post more on social media because the more I post, three times a day, every day for 30 days, I'm going to gain a bunch of followers. And to an extent, like, yeah, the more you post, the more return on investment that you're going to get. Well, with the stipulation of if there's strategy and, it's relevant to your followers and, your stuff is interesting. But that's not always the best strategy, especially for the amount of time that we have set aside to dedicate to our social media marketing plan. So, remember how I talked about in the beginning that we're going to introduce time blocking into our marketing plan and being very thoughtful about how we use that time? Well, part of that is introducing what we call engagement into your social media marketing strategy. So, not forgetting that in order to be successful on social media, to be better at social media, we have to be social. We have to deepen our relationships with the people that are looking at our content because if we're not, then we are just shouting sales at them. They're not actually getting to know us as business owners. They're not getting to know our products or services. They're not getting to know our story. And their buying decision process is not shortened. It's not creating trustful relationships with potential customers. So that way we are, bringing them closer into our world and into their, customer journey. Instead, we are by just putting posts out there, we are just, taking up space on their newsfeed and not getting to know them as customers either, and not, getting to know what they need as the target audience. So, being better on social media means incorporating strategies for engagement into our plan. So, how I like to teach clients is I practice engagement every day on social media for no more than 15 minutes a day. So, what I suggest is setting a timer, and I actually have it time blocked in my schedule in my actual like Google Calendar to engage on social media at 9 a.m. every single day. And I've developed what I call the 555 rule for effective engagement, which includes spending 5 minutes, no more, on each of these three tasks. The first one's easy. The first one is just scrolling on your newsfeed and liking and commenting on other people's posts. Because how can we expect people to do that for our profiles if we are not giving them the satisfaction of getting engagement on their posts. And also, like, it allows you to deepen your relationships with collaborators. So, if you've been thinking about doing a giveaway, but you just don't know who to reach out to, this allows you to start those business to business relationships as well. Engaging on other people's posts also allow their followers to see comments from your profile, and it sparks curiosity. So it's actually creating more brand awareness than you may think. So after doing that for 5 minutes, then the next thing to do is spend 5 minutes following new accounts. And if you're like, Brittany, where do I find new people to follow? Let me tell you, the easiest way to go about this is to go to an association or go to a profile of a group or a niche organization, a niche group, a niche business that it has your target audience and a lot of followers. So go to other people's profiles and go look at their followers list, go look at their following list, go pick your competitor and go to their profile and go see who they are interacting with and just go follow the same people they are. You may want to qualify them to make sure that these are accounts worth following. So if you can see them as a potential client or customer, yeah, then there you go. There's 5 minutes of just using somebody else's profile in order to find new people to follow. The other way is to go look at the suggested for you, which uses the algorithm to suggest profiles. But if your algorithm is new, you haven't trained it that much yet, these might not always be the most accurate. So there's 10 minutes right there. And then for the last 5 minutes, we're going to use that time to answer our comments, our DMs, and our sticker replies. So if you're putting up Instagram stories, Facebook stories that have stickers in it, go check at go check out what people have DM'd you. So direct messaging, go direct message other people. So anybody who follows you and follows your profile, if you get that notification, use that 5 minutes to go reach into their DMs and say, hey, thanks so much for a follow. As a small business owner, it means so much to me to have your support. And that just kickstarted a conversation. It shows appreciation and gratitude. And it's also a touch point. So that way they're receiving a notification from you now. And it's like, oh, yeah, I did go follow them yesterday. Let me go check them out. It sparks more curiosity on their end. And it's what we call instant gratification if they're getting a notification from you. And of course, within that 5 minutes as well, go reply to any comments that you might have gotten on previous posts. So these are all things that you can find in your notifications and go respond to them. So this actually helps your algorithm. If it plateaued overnight, it actually picks your algorithm back up. So that way your post keeps getting traction even on the second, third, fourth day, and so on. So that's what I call my 555 strategy for efficient engagement. Again, spending no more than 15 minutes. And this actually allows you to pull back and pump the brakes a little bit on the media that you are putting out there. Because even if you are cranking out like 4 posts, 5 posts, 6 posts, what truly is the beauty part about social media is originally and will always be the intention to connect with others. Like that's why social media was invented. So if we are able to bring back our social media platforms for that fundamental reason to be on social media, we are going to be able to develop communication, develop trust, develop relationships that would translate into our business goals, into our business communication, and into our overall marketing plan. Because remember, social media is brand awareness. It's not an end all be all for sales. It is a brand awareness channel that you can use to bring attention and attract new customers. So we need to actually interact with them in order to bring them down the sales pipeline and to get them a little bit closer into our world. And there you have it, folks. We've got 4 new strategies on how to be better at social media. But I want to tell you to just focus on one. For the next 30 days, choose between one of the 4 that we talked about today. So, time blocking and batching your content. We talked about consistency with your visuals and your branding identity and how to use Canva in a way that remixes your content so that way it aligns with your branding. So that way you stand out online better. We talked about repurposing your content and how it's actually not fun to reinvent the wheel every time we go to make a post, but instead we can take content that already exists on our profiles and just say it in a different way, because guess what? Not 100% of your followers see 100% of your content. And then last but not least, we talked about engagement and we talked about the 555 rule. So that way we are remaining efficient even when we're not posting as much media on social media. We are still connecting with potential customers and clients. So I challenge you to choose one of the four and focus on it for the next 30 days. Get better at it, just 1%. Remember how we took that blood oath before? We are here just to be 1% better at social media. So if you learned just one new thing today, I would love it if you could leave a review for the Marketing Mixtape podcast wherever you are listening to this podcast episode today. You can also find the Winfield Creative on all major platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Oh, yeah, and YouTube too. See you next time. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Marketing Mixtape podcast brought to you by the Winfield Creative. If you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you could like and subscribe and leave a review and do all the things so that way we can find more people just like you. And if you still have burning marketing questions that you want answered, be sure to submit them now at speakpipe.com/marketing mixtape. Until next time, this is Brittany Winfield with the Winfield Creative, signing off.